Hello, my name's Andrea Coleman and I am going to demonstrate for you how to make this peace lily. They're a great first project if you're new to felt making. They're really versatile. You can wear them in your hair, put a safety pin behind and use them as a brooch, put them on a hat, give them to all your friends. You should be able to complete this project within an hour. To make your peace lily, these are the things you'll need. A small piece of bubble wrap with small bubbles, 2 very thin pieces of plastic, a piece of soap. I use pure olive oil soap, which I grate down and dilute into a pint bottle with warm water. You can use other soaps. A very fine fleece. I use pure merino, but you can use other fleeces. The finer the quality, the easier it is to make the flower. I've used white, pale yellow for the stamen, sharp pair of scissors, those are essential, and a square of cardboard that's 6 inches square, or if you're metric, 15 centimetres. You can use yarn and silk fibres if you'd like. They're not essential, you can still make it without them. We're going to start by making the stamen. Get your yellow, and then we need to make just a small amount. Can you see when it fits in my hand? It's not very wide. I'm going to fold one end, thin end over, and make one end blunt, and then I can just roll it in my hands, just dry at first, like this. I don't want to make it too long, so my hands are quite small, and then I'll put it on the bubble wrap, and then I'm going to saturate it with a little bit of the soapy water and roll it on the bubble wrap. This bit, if we can keep it dry, that will really help later on. I'm going to do this for a little while and I want it to get stronger and stronger. You can also roll it in your hands like this. After rolling this for about 2 minutes, you might find that the tip gets a little bit pointed. It's perfectly alright to cut that off so it's blunt, and now we can put it to one side and get on with making the rest of the flower. Now we're going to move on to the flower. Take your piece of cardboard and your thin plastic and weigh out 4 grams of the fleece. Divide that into 2, and I'll show you how I'm going to lay out the first layer. So I trap it and pull it away. Thin is the best way. The most common mistakes people will make is they will have their hands too close together and it's very difficult to pull the fibres out. So as you pull out, it will get harder to pull away. So move this pulling hand away from your trapping hand. And as long as it's easy to pull out, you're doing the right thing. Now notice this side's slightly thicker than that side, so what I'll do is I'll just trap it and then drop it down. And don't be frightened of patting your wool. This will help with the felting process. Make sure that your square is well covered. Now, once you've completed your first layer, quarter turn your work like this, and then you repeat what we did with the first layer, but we're going to go across your fibres. Now, just so that you can see more clearly, I'm going to use a completely different colour, but I suggest you stick with the same colour for you. So it just helps you see what I'm doing by me using this bright pink. So I'm pulling and trapping. And another important thing to do is when you pull and trap this time, keep this pulling hand quite high and then drop your fibres, otherwise you'll pull away all the work you've done. When you've completed your layers, don't worry if your layers don't look quite as even as mine. Practice makes perfect. You'll get better each time you do this. While your hands are dry, grab your stamen and then just pinch it very hard at the base here and pull some of those fibres off like this. And then we can spread it out like that, and I'll come back to that in a minute. So next we're going to get our warm soap and water and sprinkle some in the middle like this, and then we're going to grab our other piece of thin plastic, put it on top, press down and make that water go through. We're going to try and get rid of any air in it. Keep pressing down and try to get rid of any air bubbles. When you've done that, we can peel away the top thin plastic. Be very careful at this point that you don't take your fibres with you. Can you see how they're lifting up? Just flick them away if that happens. Peel it back. And then we are going to fold over two edges. So if you've got a messy edge, I suggest you choose that one. So I'm going to fold this edge, and I'm just folding it just to the edge of my square. So you can feel your square underneath for guidance. And again, lots of pressing, get rid of any air bubbles. And then we can peel that back, and we can take another edge. So we'll take this edge here and use your piece of cardboard for guidance again, and peel. We can peel that back. Right, the next thing we do is we're going to put this stamen on your flower, and I'd put it quite low down like that, and we're going to press it down. If you need a bit more soap and water on there, do that, add it on. Then if you'd like to decorate your flower, there's things you can do. If you want a flower with spots on, I've just cut up a piece of yarn and I'm just going to sprinkle it around to create little spots. And the other thing that's nice is silk fibres. If you've got them, they make a lovely wriggly line, and again you can put those on like that. When you're ready, then you can put all the little bits of fibres and the dots in place. Also, if you want, just to avoid getting silk fibres on your stamen, you can wrap it in a small amount of the thin plastic. Right, the next thing you do is put your hand, one of your hands, in over the point. I've got my little finger out here and my thumb here. I don't want them in the flower. If you are left-handed, you might be more comfortable putting your right hand in, but I'm right-handed, so I'm going to put my left hand in, and then I'm going to take one side of my flower and then I'm going to fold it over, and then I can peel away the thin plastic from on top of that. And then I'm going to take the other side and roll that on top like that to make a cone shape. Press down a bit. Just be careful when you take this away that you're not taking your fibres with you. It's a little bit tricky one-handed. And then, can you see the extra fibres on there? Tilt your hand up and tuck them in to the other side. Now I'm going to get my bubble wrap, and I'm got to support everything. I'm going to now put my work on the bubble wrap, take the cardboard away. And then I'm going to just pat like this. You probably have to add a bit more soap and water. You need it absolutely saturated. And pat. And I pat for about 2 minutes. After about 2 minutes of doing this, you can pull your thin plastic out. Don't need that for the moment. And start pinching and patting the bottom part of your flower. So another minute or so doing this. So after you've done this for about a minute, I just want to tell you about troubleshooting as well. If your fibres keep lifting like that, it's probably getting too dry, so add a little bit more soap and water to it. The other thing you can do is make your hands a little bit soapy by rubbing your hands on the bar of soap, and then that will feel more slidey and nice. So you've been patting and rubbing. Now I want you to ease your hand out very carefully, very slowly. Not pulling anything away. Open it out, and what I'm going to do there is now I'm going to put 2 fingers in, and I'm going to move it very slightly like this and carry on this patting and rubbing. I will work my way around the flower, so do this slower than I'm showing you, and I'd take about another 2 to 3 minutes doing this, all working your way all the way around your flower. So now your flower should start to feel a little firmer. You should feel more confident picking it up and moving it round. So what I want you to do is keep the flower on your bubble wrap, but just lift up this bit. Don't lift it off the bubble wrap. I don't want you to suspend it above. And then, do you remember at the beginning we rubbed the stamen in one's hands like this? We'll rub the end of your flower in our hands like this. And this will really strengthen it up now. and then we can go back to what we were doing. You might find you get some wrinkles here. Don't worry too much, just put your fingers in there and work around this bit. It's the hardest bit to reach. So, but you can put your fingers down a little bit to smooth out those wrinkles. The other thing you can do is now very gently rub it, very small movements on the bubble wrap, and this will start to harden it in every direction. So like that, and to the side, and keep on moving it round. You might have to hold your bubble wrap down, and I'd do this for at least a minute. After a minute of being gentle, you can actually be a lot rougher now with it. Use all your strength to push it onto the bubble wrap and rub it in every direction, and also grab that and between your palms. Again, put a lot of strength onto it, and we can also start to shape it. You could put your fingers inside and create a more bell shape. We can also, where the point is here, we can pull that a little bit out to create a more flower shape. Now, we can get rid of that little bit of thin plastic that was there, and you should see your stamen peeping through. Keep on rubbing. It should feel really quite firm by now. The other thing you can do is actually you can roll it like you were washing your hands with a piece of soap. This will really promote the shrinkage, and then keep opening out, and you will really see a transformation, and it will feel so different in your hands from when you were handling it at the beginning. I've been playing around with the shape of this lily for the last couple of minutes, opening it out where I need to, and I feel that it's nice and strong, and I like the shape I've made it. And now it's ready for me to rinse out, and then I'll put it to dry, and that's a finished lily. Congratulations on finishing your piece lily. I hope you go on to make lots more and give them all away to your friends.